Hi everyone, Ksenia Pros here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm talking about fashion blogger and influencer photo shoots. So next question that I've been asked a lot is how I find my locations. People have been following me on Instagram for a long time, and some of my clients, we've been shooting for 5 years. And it's just not possible to get a new location every single time. So honestly, I go to the same places over and over again, but I try to get from a different angle. So I have maybe like 5 favorite locations that I can do like the entire shoot there without moving around much. And those I tend to use a lot. So for example, for those who live in the DC area, I live in Maryland actually, close to DC, so I love going to North Bethesda. The area is called Pike and Rose. This is my favorite location because it's close to home too. I love downtown Crown, Rio. In Virginia, I love going to Mosaic District and Tyson's Corner. And I absolutely love shooting in DC, but sometimes it's just not convenient because of the traffic, parking, and all of that. So because I'm shooting a lot of street style pictures, I'm actually looking for like a street looking location. But it doesn't have to be like downtown, because now they have a lot of mixed development, what they called. So it's apartment buildings mixed with some retail and restaurants. So this is like a perfect area for me because all of those restaurants, they each have different characters. Some retail shops invest into the front, so they have like cute design. The actual development, the owners of the area, they invest into the decors. So some of my favorite places that I go to, it's actually mixed development. But then if you live in a bigger city, you might want to look some places downtown or some grungy streets. So places like New York, DC, you literally can actually walk out anywhere and this is your location. Unless you're looking for something very specific. So when we're deciding on the location with my clients, the location doesn't have to be anything super specific or super grand, unless that's the look we're going for. So sometimes just even a city street will look great in the pictures. You just have to know which angles to shoot from. Which brings me to my next point, is matching the outfit and locations. So for example, if I know that we have to shoot a lot of long gowns, some evening wear, we would go to DC to use some of the beautiful architecture there. But if we're doing something very natural or like street style looks, we would just go to a generic location somewhere in the city or even somewhere in the suburbs. Once you're on location, see what your client is wearing, because they're going to be changing multiple times. Sometimes I don't know ahead of time which exact looks or colors they're going to wear. You can ask ahead of time to send you pictures if you want to get ready, if you want to get prepared. For me, I already trained my eye well enough so that I know that this color was going to look good on that corner and this style was going to look better in the middle of the street, for example. So try to match, think about the color scheme. So for example, if they're wearing like a yellow dress, it's going to pop well against like darker blue background or just any dark background. Same things go to like shiny outfits. It just pops more against like darker color background, but sometimes you can play with the monochromatic look. So for example, I love shooting white on white, and sometimes I actually match the color of the outfit to the color of the location. So in this video, you'll see me shooting a brown dress against the brown wall, just because I like the different shades of it. And then we shot like a very colorful outfit with a Mexican style restaurant with a mural. So that worked pretty well as well. And then the same goes to style of the outfit. So think about if they're wearing something like denim with a shirt, that more like of a street style, casual look. So it could be somewhere in the middle of the street, walking, doing some everyday things. If it's more of a dressy, long gown, I would do it somewhere by the wall, maybe standing, or like standing in the middle of the street, or try to find like a fancier looking background for that. Or if my client is wearing something like more work style, I would actually look for like some glassy, office-y looking buildings or something like that. So another thing about picking the exact spot where you want to take pictures of this particular outfit is to think about how this location is going to look with the background blurred. So once you take enough pictures, you gain some experience, you're going to know that this is going to be a great location. It's going to look great when it's blurred out, because I take a lot of pictures with very shallow depth of field. So the background's just blurred and the person in the shot pops against the background. And then when I pick the exact spot, a lot of times it's not because it looks pretty, but because the light is pretty and I know that the picture is going to look great. Because no matter how pretty your background is or the outfit is, the right lighting can make or break the picture. So for me, the priority of the decision making is first, great light. Second, it matches the style and the color of the outfit. Third, it looks pretty. Because sometimes I see a lot of people trying to take a picture in front of this beautiful building, but the light just doesn't work and the color doesn't work for the outfit that the model is wearing. But if you're looking to take a picture at the specific spot, try to match the outfit to the location that you're going to, and try to think which time of day should I go to get the best lighting. Because that's how I make decisions when I schedule my shoots. For example, if someone is requesting a photo shoot at the Library of Congress, I know that the Library of Congress is facing west, so the best light to shoot there is actually during the morning, because it's like one big shade in the front of the building, and then as you move to the afternoon, it gets really hot and sunny in the front, so I don't really usually work with harsh sunlight. So let's talk about actually scouting locations, because if you just move to a new area or you're just exploring new area, you don't know much, or maybe you want to add on to the list of your locations. I try to do it every now and then. How to scout locations? Way number one, the lazy one. It's Google Maps, and now you can use Street View for most of the major locations in your local area, in your town or your city. So it actually helps a lot, because sometimes I know the location, but I haven't actually been there, I haven't shot there, I just drove by. You only see places to take pictures and actually notice things when you're actually walking around. So what I do is I use the Street View from Google Maps to kind of like walk around and see what kind of stores are around. Sometimes things change over time because Google Maps don't update it every year or so. So sometimes you would get to the location and it doesn't look exactly the same, but that's okay. So that's how I do my research, if you actually have to see how the location looks from the Street View. Then for like major locations, if I want to shoot somewhere outdoorsy, I would actually search online for a specific place. Sometimes I would actually, if I'm looking for a park in a certain area of the city, I just use the Google Maps and see from the top view for the green triangles, which means there are parks there, and I want to see what kind of local parks they have. They barely have any pictures for smaller parks, but for bigger parks, they have like a lot of Google photos, so you can kind of get a feel of what kind of location is that. So another resource is other photographers, so you can ask around. If you have any friends in the area who are photographers, you can reach out to them and ask for specific advice on location, if they're kind enough to let you know where they're shooting. And then you can search local blogs. For example, one time I wanted to do a photo shoot with walls of murals, and I know that DC has a lot of murals, but I don't really go to those places that much, so I didn't have any information on that. So I had to search I just did the Google search, and some of the local blogs popped up. And a lot of bloggers and influencers, just like lifestyle or even moms, they would post things like that, like top 5 murals in DC that look great in your pictures on your Instagram or things like that. So search it for your local area and you would find places like that, or like top 5 local parks to take pictures at. Another website that I recommend using is shothotspot.com. So this is where you want to find those unique locations, and they have different categories that you can search in your local area, such as nature, architecture, city, transport, even abandoned places that you wouldn't necessarily know about. So this is basically a hub from other photographers or photography enthusiasts to share their information about the local spots that are maybe interesting for photo shoots. Another resource that works great is just Instagram. So you can search geotags. So I follow quite a few of local bloggers, influencers, photographers, other creatives, and local brands. And I just see what kind of content they're posting. And sometimes they would post a picture that I really love the location. And if they use a geotag or something in the description that would reveal the location, I would save that picture to my collections. The next time I would remember, I saw that location, that would work great for this photo shoot. But the best way to scout locations is to actually go out there. So just get out of your house, get off your couch, walk around, bike around, take your kids out, take your family out, and at the same time you would scout locations. So you can combine business and pleasure. I do it all the time. So you can say that I'm working 24/7, because even if I'm out with my husband and my daughter, I'm constantly on the lookout for a new location. For example, just recently we bought bikes and we went biking to a local park that I've never been to because I don't bike. So we didn't have any reason to go because they have like actually a lot of bike trails. And as we were biking, I was like, oh my God, this looks so pretty here. There are a lot of flower fields and just like crazy locations that I know I want to use later this summer for my photo shoots. And sometimes I would actually want to go explore a certain area. And like the next weekend that I'm free, I make my husband go with me to that certain place just to hang out. But at the same time, I'm just scouting the location. Most of the time, if you shoot somewhere in the city, on the street, you don't need any permit. But if you're shooting next to a building that's privately owned, or if you come up the stairs to the building, even though you're still outside, you might need a permit to do that. Because I shoot in DC all the time. As long as you're just on the street next to a building, it's okay. Once you sit on the stair, sometimes the security people would come out and ask you to either leave or show the permit or just like stay on the street outside because this is their rules. And one building in DC, they actually told us that we're not supposed to be taking pictures next to it, like showing the building in the pictures, even though we use just like a little corner in the wall, like you can't really tell where you are. Most of the time in my pictures, you can't really tell where you are because I want to use the location over and over again. So make sure it's like blurred, very generic looking. We don't show any logos, any brands because we don't want to have any problems first. Second, we don't want to give free advertising. And third, a lot of influencers that I'm working with, they're getting paid by another brand, so I don't want to have any other brands in the picture, obviously. So a lot of times, if it's not possible for me to blur it out or crop it out, I will just Photoshop it out later when I'm doing the editing for the pictures. So long story short, if you shoot on the street, you don't need a permit. It's okay to shoot. If you go to a privately owned mixed development, even if it's outside in the street, you still need to get a permit technically. From my experience though, I tried to do the right thing. I did. For like a couple of mixed developments that I usually go to shoot, I tried to reach out to their management. I never get a response. Even when the security people come by, I try to explain to them that I tried to reach out and get the permit, but it's just not possible. Or sometimes it takes forever for them to get back to me because nobody in the office actually knows about photography permits because they don't really deal with it on a regular basis. So it's kind of a gray area. So most of the time now I just don't request a permit. I don't waste my time on anybody else's time. If the security person comes by, I try to explain that we're not doing any commercial pictures. No logos is going to be showing in the picture. If they're still firm in their decision for us to leave or request a permit on the day off, which you cannot get on the day off, if you call the office, nobody's going to pick up or nobody's going to tell you anything, then we just leave. We either move, if we can walk out of the development across the street and just use some other locations, or we can just drive to close by location. That sets you back though on your timeline because when you have to explain to people what's going on and request a permit, it takes time. So that usually sets us back like at least 30 minutes because by the time you explain everything and if you have to move, that takes a lot of time. So my advice for you is be nice to people, smile to people, be honest, explain what's going on. And if you can, make friends with the security people who work at the area that you usually go take pictures. Because once you saw you 3 or 4 times, they actually wave you, say hello. So you want to be nice to them so they can let you off the hook. But if you are planning a bigger production, a commercial photo shoot for some local brand or something like that, it's just the right thing to request the permit from the location, especially if you're going to be doing like a bigger scale photo shoot with multiple models involved, if you want to bring the lights or any kind of like bigger equipment out, because this is someone's private property. And when you shoot on location, always be respectful. Be respectful to the property and to the guests, to the people who are sharing the area with you. So never make people on the street move just because we want to use that particular corner and there's like a couple standing there enjoying their day. We try to work around what's going on at the current moment on the street and picking the locations that are available at the moment. Sometimes people are kind enough, they actually ask, oh, do you want to take pictures here? We can move. In that case, we say, oh, yes, please, if it's not too much to ask. But I never actually approach people and ask them to leave. sometimes I would come by and say, "Hey guys, could you just, we taking pictures here. If you don't want to be in the background, do you want to take this table instead? So we don't have to move." Because sometimes like people would literally stand, like we would be taking pictures and there would be literally people sitting down in my shot, like in the background, but obviously I can see them in the background, or they would be standing like with their dog in the background. I would just come by. I would either wait for some period of time, but if they're not moving and we cannot move, then I would come by and explain what's going on and tell them, hey, you probably don't want to be in our pictures, so if you don't want to move just like a few steps that way, that would be great for us. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you got some great information from this video, make sure to give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and follow me on Instagram at Ksenia Pro Photo. See you guys in the next one. Bye.